Hey everyone, Skull902 here, and I am back with my memory lane buddies. We're taking a trip down memory lane with my memory lane buddies. I fucked up the intro, who cares? I'm here with Lost Leader today,
Hey everybody.
and hey, would you look at that? I have to abide by the goal that you guys earned at Extra Life last year. So avatars in in
Yay!
memory lane buddies. Let's fucking go. This is something I probably should have done a long time ago anyway. Um, but that's aside from the point. Today,
It bothers me that I'm not flipped over.
no, okay, I can. You do have an asymmetrical. You do have a symmetrical design, so there.
Yay! Okay, cool. I
Okay,
am correct now. I could actually talk to you. Go ahead.
hooray! So this episode is about obscure television. It's a bit of a subjective title, but we'll try our best here. This is going to be more of a loosey goosey episode, not much of a format this time, uh, but just generally speaking, it's going to be about television shows that might be a little lesser known, or something along those lines. So we're gonna start by just talking about like a series. We're gonna nominate a series, and then uh, just kind of uh, go off from there and have a very loose conversation because this is a topic that I feel kind of requires a very loose conversation. So, uh, with all that said, ladies first. Lost, what do you have for us?
So, are we doing my honorables first, or are we doing the 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 one I actually nominated?
Bam.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Lost
So
brought
these are my
pictures.
honorables. Go ahead.
I was just saying Lost brought pictures.
I did. I brought pictures. I figured this would be nice for y'all at the very least. Um, Especially because 'cause they're obscure TV shows, so it's a little bit harder to find them sometimes. Extreme Ghostbusters, I wouldn't necessarily say is an obscure one, but every time I bring it up in conversation, nobody knows what it is, and I'm like, How have you not seen it?" It's very recognized by a lot of people that actually, like Ghostbusters are like, "Oh, yeah, if only they had, like, this version of Ghostbusters instead of whatever we had for the movies and whatnot." And I gotta tell y'all, this is made by the same people that made Men in Black, the animated series, and just overall the quality is astounding. I'm genuinely surprised at it. I just wanted to give it a quick shout out here.
Alrighty, Extreme Ghostbusters. Uh,
Yeah,
this this one I feel like I could do a little brief mention because for those who may have watched my Fox Kids video last year, uh, you might know that it wasn't too terribly like findable, at least for me in the late '90s, because it was on an independent station, not Fox, like for most people.
it was
Uh,
Skulls. It was actually on UPN. That's where it aired. It aired early mornings
well,
on UPN.
uh, I could have, so at least in my area, it was on Fox Kids. It might have been attached to like whatever the local station had for the whatever. Who cares? Uh, my
I mean, that is
impression of
possible. I'm just telling you, that's probably why you didn't see it so often.
my impression of this is more than likely from an airing or a re-airing on Fox Kids. Uh, but like this is a show that I actually did wonder about for a good while. Like I knew it was Ghostbusters just because like Slimer, but I just remember as a kid just seeing like one little scene where everyone's having pancakes and this green fuck eats them. Uh, you know,
Yeah, he's a greedy little monster.
he stole everyone's goddamn pancakes. So you know, a guy gets put on high C and thinks he's the coolest thing ever. But yeah, so I have a bit of a like vague memory with this one as well. So I just wanted to throw that in there. What's your next honorable?
The next honorable is Grounded for Life, only for the simple fact that, like, it is one of those sitcoms that you will forget consistently, and it's something that I had to keep remembering. Like, wait, did I watch that? The thing was too is that like every time I was bored, this show would come in to save my life. I swear to you. It is just a very interesting show. The person that plays the uncle, which is the guy right next to the girls on the couch, I think he's an astounding actor. He just is very funny with his line deliveries, and it is just a general sitcom, but it works as a dysfunctional family, which kind of fits in with a lot of things. But it is what it is.
Gotcha, gotcha. So next up in your honorable mentions.
So I was looking this up a little bit. I'm generally surprised to find out Small Wonder was a TV show that was actually very popular in various foreign nations like India, and I had no idea that was the case. Like they aired this in Hindu and such, and this is basically a sitcom based on a man making a little girl as a robot. I have no idea why that was the premise whatsoever. There's no implications to anything or anything such and such. I grew up with this as a kid in the 90s, so that's how old it is. It's like a 1970s show at like earliest, I think. And for the premise that it was there and everything, I was captivated by it. And my uncle still tells me to this day, just like, I remember you seeing and watching like Vicky and like, yeah, I kind of remember Vicky, and that's what the was called in other nations. It was called Super Vicky instead of Small Wonder, which I think is a far better apt title. But again, another basic sitcom slop that I really like and consistently drops out of public zeitgeist, which makes me a little bit sad.
Yeah, you know, when you were questioning the premise there, my immediate thought was if this was anime, nobody would question the premise.
Kinda, yeah. That's kind of the whole point. It's really more of a foresight situation rather than anything else. And suffice to say, I have watched plenty of anime that are akin to something weird like this. But nothing like too bad either. It's just one of those things where like this I question because it's live action. It's more so looking back.
Gotcha, gotcha. So now, and now our featured presentation.
Well, actually, before I wanted to get to the show, I do want to give quick shout outs to a few other ones. And I do have to suggest that Fox really just gets rid of a lot of TV shows. So I want to give a quick shout out to Greg the Bunny, great lore building and world building. Bless the Hearts, really good animated sitcom that I feel gets overshadowed a lot, but it has a lot of heart for what is basically the premise of the whole entire thing. The Critic, which is a very fun little thing. Uh, Basically just like from The Simpsons and just like kind of a sister show. Dead Like Me, which is um a TV show about like the afterlife and someone becoming a Reaper. Really neat, interesting. And then we have as the final one here, Reaper, which is a show on the CW of all places. And it was basically about this guy that had his parents sell his soul to the devil, and he had to go off and kill other people in order to like reap because he was the Reaper. Um, Really interesting premise all around for all of those. Makes me a little bit sad, but this is a show that like every time I hear obscure TV show, this is my immediate thought process is Titus. 100%. It's always been Titus, and I love Titus to death. It is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and it makes it a little bit sad that Fox canceled it, but it was a dark comedy series. It was one of those series that looking back on all the plot points and whatnot, it was a little bit like jarring to see certain things, as we'll get into later in various episodes. But if you move on to the next one really quick, Skulls. The first episode is called Dad is Dead. And the whole premise of that episode is just we don't know if the father is actually dead or not because he hasn't grabbed a beer in over a week. And everyone's like upset and worried, and they're trying to figure out, like, oh, like, is he dead or not? Should we go check inside? Should we go do that? And they're just kind of just like trying to figure that out. And one of the things that should be noted about Titus is that it consistently, I mean consistently, like almost every single episode, is a bottle episode. you get maybe one or two set stages, and that's it. Everything else is just kind of there to be played with the characters talking to each other and whatnot. And this moment right here is near the end of the episode where Titus is kind of mocking his dad because like he's better off than his dad was, and he's trying to like one up him by talking about all these things, and then finally the actual dad appears as they're doing this whole mockumentary, and he just opens a beer can, and you can see the dread on his face soon after this, and just great. The next one, please. This next one I think was actually nominated by for like to get like an Emmy or some such. I'm not exactly sure what. It's called The Last Noel. And as I mentioned before, Titus is a show that is very geared towards dark comedy. And this is one of the few episodes where it actually mentions things. And I believe this actually is technically true for Titus's life. A lot of Titus is actually based off Christopher Titus's own life because he uses it to as a method to cope and have a bit of like a therapy for himself. And this episode pretty much centrals around the idea of him trying to get over the fact that he was domestically abused. And that is like the whole entire premise of the show's episode. And like, it is something that doesn't get revealed until like later on. And I'm sorry to kind of spoil the pot there, but like, it is such a fantastic reveal in the way that everything is done. Cause he basically goes to a funeral just to be like, make sure that she's dead. It's like a confirmation thing of like, I'm safe now, you know?
Damn.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Next. Go ahead.
that was a bit unexpected.
Yeah.
'Cause, like when you sent me this screenshot here, I was thinking like Twilight Zone parody, but what you just described was a lot different from that. Goodness gracious.
Yes. I do need to explain this part too. I suppose I didn't explain that part. Every episode opens up with a light bulb turning on, and that's basically a little space where Titus actually addresses the audience, but it's considered to be a space where it's his mind. And we get a glimpse of two other people that have light bulbs. That's his father and his girlfriend at the time. And they're main focused episodes, and it's really interesting the way the kind of whole situation goes because each person interacts with their own mind space differently. But that's him basically like telling the audience this, and then like he's like dressed up in a Santa outfit, all happy and everything, and he's like locking the door, talking about how like domestic abuse isn't like reported by a lot of people, especially men. And he turns to the camera with this revealed. And this money shot right here, I think, is probably the reason why it actually got nominated. It's because he just talks about it and just is super vulnerable.
Man, yeah,
Right?
that is uh both sad and interesting, and how should I describe? I like the way that you're describing it. I think that makes for compelling viewing.
Yes. He does it better. I'm going to tell you that much right now. He makes it far funnier, which is, in hindsight, I didn't realize how dark everything was. So it's not that I didn't recognize these are all bad things that happen. It was more so, I've dealt with people that have similar problems like this. So this isn't like a new thing to me. This is just kind of like daily business, you know?
Yeah. Uh,
The next one.
Here we go.
Um, this one always sticks out to my mind as like the number one Titus episode that I could remember from the back of my mind. And something that Titus consistently goes through in both his comedy and throughout his TV show is that his mom is crazy. Like legitimately needs to be like held in an asylum and whatnot. And there's one particular part of this episode where like the mother keeps trying to tell him, hey, like forgive yourself, like you need to forgive me and you need to forgive yourself for whatever needs to be done. Your dad did the best that he could to raise you and all this such. And it's one of those situations where it's just like, why does she keep saying these things and whatnot? And the stinger for the end of this episode is generally what got me about it, and I don't want to actually reveal it here, but the point is that Titus starts to worry that he himself is turning crazy. Like he has the ability to do that because genetically speaking, insanity is hereditary. So there's always a possibility that that could happen to him. He could go insane, uh, and it's one of those situations where this is kind of one of those indicators that like maybe he is, and it's something that like ends on somewhat of a good note, but somewhat on a bad note. It's one of those somber, bitter endings that I really, really love, like full out go for, and it just carries with me to this day, just how it ended.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And then next one. So this one is called Tommy's Not Gay, which if you didn't know who Tommy was, he's the person up there on the pool table. There's a little pool table as you can see. Titus is in the forefront, and that's his brother Dave. Um, and they all kind of are like in like a bar scene together. And the thing that needs to be noted about this is that Tommy is technically not gay. Like we don't know for sure 100% if he is or not. It's never really stated in the series, and it's one of those situations where like Titus has a feeling that's the case, but also there's an extra layer to it because his dad was gay, and because his dad was gay, he instilled a lot of his values onto Tommy in a way that like he presents his masculinity. So Tommy has um Father Titus, who was super butch mask, 1950s old guy that's like, like touching your butt and like saying sweet cheeks is like a compliment type person. And then you have this other guy that's his father, um, that would just be like, ooh, a Dacalicious Appletini type of situation. So there's a lot of mixed feelings in that bag, and it's more about this episode, not whether or not Tommy is actually gay, but the fact that Titus actually stood up for Tommy because um, he doesn't care if he's gay or not. That's his friend. And in hindsight, this really helped out a lot. And it's one of those things that I recognize that Christopher Titus is actually a very prominent person when it comes to standing up for a lot of people in the minority at the time, and people that need help. Like he's standing up for trans people right now too in his comedy specials, from what I've seen currently. But largely, this was surprising at the time because this is in the early 2000s, right before Prop 8 type situation in California. So this was a big thing for sure on TV.
I was
Just the fact that you would defend someone that might be gay.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you actually when this aired. So yeah, this around that time would have been quite something.
Yes, yes, it would. And the next slide. So this is part of two different slides. You'll see the other one next time. But this is supposed to be the finale. And both the finale and the next episode were not aired because of dark reasons. And I think a very important thing to note about this is that Titus takes place before 9/11. When 9/11 happened, that was in the middle of season 2 and 3, I believe. It was like around 2001. And the way they frame this episode is a two-parter. And the first part is them like doing something in particular, and they have to like get on a plane or some such. Like there's a problem with the airport, I believe. And then the second part is basically them getting into a fight. No, 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 no. Okay, I apologize. It's at the airplane. They're all getting into a fight with a bunch of people, and it coalesces into this weird situation where all the things they're saying sound like Al Qaeda. Like, Tommy has a problem with the way that someone's saying chicken a la king. So he keeps saying Allah, Allah, Allah. And one of the people, Titus, because he's going through a bit, he starts to act a little bit crazier and crazier as things go on, and it's one of those situations that keep accumulating into this point where like they get arrested for suspicion of terrorism. And the whole entire solution, and what ends on a series finale, is the fact that like if we incarcerate Titus, he'll be in jail. He'll be in a mental asylum for 6 months. But if you all defend him and this wasn't a thing of insanity that happened, then basically you'll all go to jail for like 20 years. And they're like, oh, well. And the whole entire second episode of the series finale is based on the prisoner's dilemma type situation, where if you're not aware of what it is, basically is the cops or the federal agents or whatever talking to you and talking to the other people that are committing the crime to try to like make you confess for that amount, but they'll give you a better deal if you confess about what they did, and they'll give you like leniency. But really, they're going to call out the story both ways. But that's just how it's framed. That's not what happens. So we had this series finale for I want to say a good 20 or so years, and I actually found out recently Titus did a season 4, which is only one episode, and it is technically a special. So I plan to watch that very soon, but that's kind of all we have for Titus. That being said, slide. This episode is probably the reason why it actually got like canceled and whatnot, is because we had that one and then we had this one. And if you can't tell, Titus is defending somebody from, let's say, somebody in the E-Files, I think is the best way to put it.
Jesus Christ.
Right? And this whole entire episode is just Titus trying to defend his new adopted daughter to make sure that she is okay. But like he does it in a Titus way, in a dysfunctional way, where basically he's just trying to make sure that like whatever the hell she's doing, like she's doing it correctly and in the right ways. And like she keeps putting off this guy and whatnot. And that's the reveal of the episode, is specifically that. And this is the moment where Titus starts to realize, oh, wait a minute, this guy isn't actually a good person at all. He's making shit up. And the way the episode ends is honestly, I really love it. Because like they give her the bat and they're like, we're gonna call the police, but it may take a little while. And there's just that dark humor in there that just kind of works off that fact, and I just kind of really love it. So that is Titus. It is surprisingly enough all free on YouTube. You can watch it right now on YouTube after this, hopefully. And it is a great series as far as I'm concerned. The way that it handles each and every topic, despite how dark it is always filled with humor. And I love the bejeebus out of it, and I hope more people find it.
Well, yeah, a lot of what you said there sounded interesting about the show's presentation and the way that things work in it, and the topics and all of that. Uh, Very interesting stuff there, and like uh, uh, that second episode near the end, that sounds like something that would be a very special episode for a lot of sitcoms, but I could definitely see why they held the other one back, if it was
Right?
that shortly after. Goodness gracious. uh
Yeah, that was kind of the whole premise of Titus, is just kind of how far he pushed a lot of the things that he experienced in his life and turn it into humor. And I honestly think he did a really good job with a lot of the dark humor here, because like I didn't really recognize it. And the way that he always opens up his TV show is that dysfunctional families uh are the majority, and they're the ones that are able to like, oh no, they're the minority. They're the ones that try to keep everything together. A disaster happens and whatnot. And like that is the whole entire premise of Titus, is just how dysfunctional this family is, yet how Titus is always trying to keep them together and try to like be a family. And it's not done in a wholesome way, but it is done in a way that feels wholesome with its spirit. And I really do love the way that it presents all its humor.
yeah,
Um,
like it touches on the subjects not to not to be a ratings grab or award bait, but because the people behind the show actually cared.
Yes, exactly. It does a lot of feather touches more than it does on a very special episode, like you said.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason why I actually like it a lot too, is because like these things are just real things that happen to people, and sometimes bad shit happens to people, and you kind of have to move on. And one of the best coping mechanisms is humor, so it just kind of works with it.
Yes, indeed. I can vibe with that. And yeah, well, definitely. Uh, I'll try to catch it out. I will try to catch it sometime. Jesus, if I could just talk. Uh,
No,
so,
I get you. You're definitely someone that doesn't watch a lot of TV shows, but considering everything, your TV show.
oh man, yeah. After all of that, my my pick is gonna come off as pretty lame. Uh,
What? No, it's
gonna
not. Come on.
All right. So in the 1990s and the 2000s, there was this really cool thing called the DC animated universe. You got your Batman, Superman, Batman Beyond,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
leading into Justice League and all that. Uh, in that sea of amazing content, hidden in there, it was a little two-season show called the Zeta Project that was a spin-off of Batman Beyond. So like they did an episode of Batman Beyond that kind of like
Oh, really? That's neat.
oh yeah. The episode of Batman Beyond just kind of like introduced the premise. Zeta was like a misunderstood villain of the episode, and it was basically the same thing. It was this I forget what the hell they call the model exactly, but like this robot who's got the ability to copy and mix and match appearances from uh, people that they see, and uh, was tasked to kill a guy who was associated with terrorists. Uh, but the guy ended up not being guilty, so instead of killing him, he defied his programming and let it go. So now the NSA is after him because they think he's a complete rogue for abandoning his mission and wanting to be peaceful. So like there's the episode of Batman Beyond about that, but then they later, I guess, Warner Brothers thought that that was an interesting enough idea to put into a series, and the series. I think in and of itself, I haven't seen the whole thing to be fair, but they had something really interesting going on just from the premise alone, and uh, once it went to series, it was a little lighter. The animation was a bit different. Well, in the second season, they changed the style to be a little closer to the other shows in there. But we just got Zeta and his friend Ro, and they're trying to find Zeta's creator so that he can be cleared of any wrongdoing or mechanical mishaps and prove to the public that he is not a threat to their safety. I think that that's really cool, and they should have given it like another season to conclude the story or whatever. It wasn't terribly popular. It kind of it was there, and then it went out with a whimper, like because I remember it when it was first airing. I didn't catch it regularly. Um, uh, but it like once it was over, nobody really noticed, as far as I know. But like when I dedicated myself to watching all of the DCAU, I went and checked it out, and I was like, oh my god, this idea is so fucking cool. And I just wish that there would be a little more acknowledgement. Like DC, come on, do a Zeta comic. That would be fool. Or that would be cool, not fool. Fools would hate that idea. Uh, but
That's why you pity them.
yeah, just come on, you know. something there is something there, have him cross over with Batman, you know just it's just a cool idea. So yeah, that's my nomination. I really didn't have as much to say about it as Lost did with her shows, but that's okay. um, so now what we're gonna do here is just kind of talk about like vague TV memories, I suppose, things that we uh, might have seen and haven't been able to like figure out what it was since, or just something like that. Maybe like something that you saw once years ago and then didn't. Maybe it was in the back of your mind and then you rediscovered it later. Stuff like that. Um,
Is this the viewer question of the week
it
situation, or
it can tie actually into the viewer question, because it's pretty similar actually. Uh, So the viewer question, I guess we'll get into that because again, it does kind of tie in to everything. For those who are new, if you become a channel member at the Memory Lane Buddies viewer level, not only can you view the live session for this podcast, but you can also ask a question each episode. And this one comes from Eddie, who asks, Dear Scullington and Co., do any of you have any personal lost media involving obscure television? As for me personally, I once saw this cartoon that wasn't even related to Marvel, but Stan Lee was there and he met a bunch of nobodies that he called real superheroes. I went years without any clue as to what this show even was, and then my research goons found out it was just this garbage animated movie from the year 2000 whatever called Stan Lee's Mighty Seven. So, yeah, like that definitely ties into what I wanted kind of like the second half of this podcast to be. So, very fortuitous of you, Eddie, to ask that question. Uh, so, in terms of lost media, we might save that for last because that is kind of the point with the viewer question here. But just in general, like I'll give an example of what I mean by just like vague memories. Um, there was a short film broadcast on Nickelodeon. I definitely remember it was Nickelodeon. Uh, Many years ago, like in the late 90s. I remember seeing it. I was like 3 or 4 years old at the time, where it was like this live action short film where this giant bird chases a bunch of kids. Uh, so for years, I would remember parts of that, and I was like, that kind of creeped me out back then. I wonder what the hell that was. Lo and behold, many years later, I was like, wait a second, YouTube exists. so so I looked up
real?
like I looked up Nickelodeon bird chases kids or something like that, and I found the short, and uh, it wasn't scary anymore. uh, so I didn't remember at all that after the short they actually had like a little segment. I don't even know what the hell show this was, but they had a segment after it showing how the short was made. So uh, yeah, that's one such example. Lost Week and Trade Off or whatever. But that's kind of what I'm thinking for this part of the show.
Yeah, obscure media is really hard to like tell who has seen what, or if this actually did exist, because they tend to be a fever dream and whatnot. And my answer for the reviewer question, and Skulls was like confused by this, so I had to go into detailed explanation about it, is Sonic Saturn, because you have to understand that I grew up in the 90s. Like, we're talking like I saw everything air when it was on TV, and there was no TiVo, there was no ability to watch it on the internet. There was nothing there. So what you saw on TV is what you got. And I'm more than aware of the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, but Saturn was one of those things that just kind of was a phantom to me, because I saw like maybe 2 episodes as a child, and I was very confused by it because I was just like, why didn't this get more seasons? Why didn't it get a more TV show at all? Like, why was this so hard to find for me? And like, it was like aired at like a very odd time that like my mom stumbled upon because I asked her to change the channel because I was a little kid at the time. And uh turns on the music goes blaring like blue streak speeds by and I'm like locked in immediately on just that alone and the fact that it dealt with like a apocalyptic premise and whatnot as well as seeing Robotnik actually being menacing was thrilling to me. And for some reason or another, I just could not get the time slot right because I did not have a TV guide at the time to show me or indicate that. There was no way to look it up for myself to see when I could watch this. I just had that one time. And then I was able to catch it one more time before I never ever saw it again until I want to say 3 or 4 years after the fact, when I was walking around the grocery store and I noticed a Sonic comic book, which, to be honest, I don't think a lot of people resonate with the fact that you could buy comic books at the grocery store. That used to be a thing. It's no longer a thing. I don't know why that's the case. It sucks ass, honestly. But the grocery store used to be a place where you buy magazines and whatnot. Now, not so much. Magazines have really fallen out of the fray, and that goes along with comic books unless you go to a comic book store. But suffice to say, that comic book made me realize that what I saw was not a fever dream. I that was a real thing I saw. That was Sonic Saturn right then and there. All the characters that I saw right there. And I was like, oh, so this did exist. This was a thing. And like when the YouTube era and the DVD set came by, I didn't actually buy it. I probably should have, honestly. I was too captivated with anime at the time. I think that's what it was. But it was one of those like, it was always one of those things that just like stood out to me as something that like I never quite got and I lost the grasp of it. And I'm very glad that I could just easily watch it now by going on YouTube or something, right?
Hmm.
But at the time, you just weren't able to do that. You weren't able to do a lot of these things. Internet wasn't prompt during my day and age. So that to me was lost media. I couldn't find shit on that. I was so confused. I felt like I was gaslighting myself, honestly.
Man. So so not like lost media in the traditional sense, but lost media to you personally.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
I'll bring up another example actually, while we're on this track.
Sure.
So for like something that I still haven't rediscovered, and maybe I should go do that whole YouTube exists thing and see if I can run into some luck again. Uh,
Real.
this is another one from when I was really young that I still have not found out whether it was some false memory or whatever back in the day, but back in the late 90s, the mid to late 90s or so, Cartoon Network had this little block of shows called Cartoon Planet that was
Yes.
hosted
Yes.
by Space Ghost and Zorak and Brack. Good times. So like they would have wraparound segments with those characters, but in between they would show like shorts and whatnot. I really do not remember much of Cartoon Planet from back when it was airing in the 90s, uh, but uh, the reason why I bring it up is because I feel like, based on my memories of this, that it might have been one of the shorts broadcast on there. Uh, because I seem to remember it being sandwiched between, Space Ghost and his, co-host doing some silly shit. Um,
Yeah,
but
that was a bumper skulls. So
yeah,
the Cartoon Planet was not actually a program per se.
right,
It was a programming block. So they would
yeah,
have bumpers for every single little thing. And Space Ghost would go like on Cartoon Planet, right?
hmm, yeah.
So
So one of the shorts, at least what I'm trying to remember, because I remember being like 3 years old and seeing this. I was gonna say late at night, but considering I was
to
was that
without
young,
being realistically.
yeah, considering I was that young, it was after dark though. Um, so I'm just sitting there watching the TV, and it's this fucking strange thing. I really want to know if this is real, and maybe Lost can help me if
Okay.
she knows. But like in terms of again, it's Cartoon Planet. The short is like this live action thing, which was very rare for Cartoon Network back then, of like there's a little miniature guy flying around on a surfboard. He encounters this dude who's sleeping, and like surfboards in from one ear and through the other. That's what I remember about it. Uh, and to this day, I was like 3 years old, I presume, when I first saw this. So it has been almost 30 years of me wondering if that is real or not. Uh, so that's one I still wonder about to this day.
Well, I didn't find or remember anything that in particular, but there is a YouTube thing for Cartoon Planet season one. So if there's other seasons and your surfer guy is in there, not anywhere else, SOL, I guess.
Yeah, like I don't know the I do know that like these compilations don't include the shorts. It's just the host segments. Uh, so I uh, I I still wonder about that to this day. But Lost is there anything of the sort for you, like where you definitely don't know for sure whether something that you saw on the tube way back was real or not?
The only one that really comes to mind about that specifically, because I have watched Lost Media, I'm kind of surprised about something that I found out, but um, what you calls? Lost my train of thought here. Something that I didn't think was real. The Blair Witch Project Scooby Doo thing. I
Oh
had to
my
like
God!
reimagine like what was going on with me at the time because like I saw it, it was definitely a real thing, but then the years go by and you start to second guess yourself, going like, "There's no way that was real, right?" And the thing was too is that that wasn't on Adult Swim. That was on the cartoon block right before Adult Swim. Like
Yeah,
we're
that's
talking
that's
like
pre-Adult
prime
Swim.
time. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I was shocked because like it is real. It's entirely real. They have the whole entire thing with Scooby and the gang. There's like almost all original voices. It's insane, right?
Yeah, that the reason why I had such a big reaction to that too is because that the exact same thing happened to me. Uh,
Yeah.
because I remember when back in the day when they made that in 1999, so I was 5. Uh,
Real.
uh, I remember sitting at the TV, kind of a similar situation to the whole Cartoon Planet thing, but at least I know this one's real. Uh, the only segment that I remember at all was the creepiest one, of course, when Daphne's being chased around in the darkness.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and that's another one. Just like you, for years I wondered if that was real, and then I saw it on YouTube later, and I was like, oh, good to know that that's a mystery solved.
It's like the M&Ms discovering Santa's real, you know?
It does
It does
exist.
exist. They do exist. Oh, Santa?
Uh,
Remember when Coke used to do commercials that were like full of heart and joy and not AI?
yeah.
Frick.
It's good that the polar bear decided to jump ship, though,
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm glad they have not dragged the polar bear there.
and big homie, Mr. Polar Bear. Uh, but aside from that, um, for your question specifically, Spidey, or Eddie rather, with lost media in the traditional sense, I do want to bring up very briefly because I am doing a video on this next month, so I guess consider this an announcement of sorts. But there was a PBS Kids show in the late 1990s uh, that is partially found lost media. Uh, that I had a very vague memory of watching back in that era when it was on. Uh, and it was thanks to someone's YouTube video that I was watching last month uh, that that I found out it was real. The show is called Adventures with Kangarati. It's about a kangaroo from. It's so weird to explain in short.
Oh, oh, oh yeah, I see it now. It has like a mascot, right? And like they're
Yeah,
all real live action kids.
yeah, and then they would like they would get teleported from their local library in the community center to like this mountainous rocky area where the kangaroo guy in the suit was. So
So I was
like
okay. I think I saw like that specific part of them getting teleported from the library into the kangaroo. And I saw the kangaroo and I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. This scares me.
yeah, no, I remember that's pretty like we're between this and Scooby, we're kind of on the same brain cell here today. Uh, but like when I was a teeny little, before I earned the 9.0 and the 2, I remember seeing maybe a bit of the transport sequence where they're flying around, maybe a little bit of that. But I definitely remember seeing Kangarati doing some of his moves. Uh, and then he talks to the kids, and that was like the only thing that I remembered about it. Uh, the memory was so vague, in fact, that I thought Kangarati was like a chicken or a rooster instead of a kangaroo. So,
He does not look like a kangaroo. Like I'm looking at the images right now. I just typed in Adventures of Kangarati. Does not look like a kangaroo. That looks like a bunny. Or like you said, the other ones.
I mean, I could maybe see a rabbit, but if you have a look at his tail, well, whatever. So
Yeah.
I was just mistaken about the kind of animal he's supposed to be. Um, so that was another one. I wondered for years, like, what the hell was that? I would look up like you know lists of programming that were aired on PBS, and I missed the very obvious pun name. Uh,
Yeah.
and so, like last month, I'm in a VC with friends. Credit to Trip and Rabid. Uh, and we're watching like PBS Kids Lost Media, posted by. I mentioned the name of the channel in the video that I'm going to be uploading about it next month. Um, so we're just watching along, and then he mentions Adventures with Kangarati. Starts playing footage from the show, and like
Memory
tripping
unlocked.
Trip and Rabbit can tell you how big of a reaction I had when it clicked. Uh, when I saw the set and the costume and everything, I was like, "Oh my god!" And I begged him to pause the video so that I could explain. And yeah, so it's a Lost Media series. There are 4 uncovered episodes. I've since seen all 4 of those uncovered episodes, and man, just what a discovery that was. And I'm really excited to get this video out because I think it'll be a fun project to work on. Uh,
Sounds
so,
like a fun project.
oh yeah. Uh, so, didn't mean that to be a plug for my later works, but it does tie into the question. So,
Hey, look, if you could advertise on your channel about other stuff you could advertise on your channel, more power to you. I'm gonna be real.
but yeah, to Eddie, that is like a one-to-one example of like your question. Just adventures with Kangarati, man. Uh,
Yeah, I think the main reason like I don't really know any kind of like lost media per se is because I'm not used to like looking at lost media. Like I don't care. Like generally speaking, if it's not like something I get access or whatnot, I just it doesn't fathom to me. I don't really care about it. So it just isn't in my mind to think about these types of shows and whatnot. And anything that I have seen as lost media, I didn't particularly like. So like I'm a little bit like I'm gonna be a little bit mean about it, but like I saw here Ace Ventura Pet Detective. did have an anime TV show that is considered lost media, at least a certain amount of it. I think it's just like an episode or some shit. Um, Point is, I saw that when it was airing. I did not like it. I did not think it was a good show. And I much preferred the animated show of The Mask, which Elena Bode aired around the same time. And The Mask was just far more interesting to me as a kid because like he would use it for like various like hijinks and whatnot. While Ace Adventure, Pet Detective, I just even as a kid I did not like him. Like he was a little bit too annoying for my taste. Like not to say that like I was like this adulty adult kid. It just something about him that I just did not like. I did like the first movie though, I will say that much.
He talks with his rear end. That's too much for me.
Excuse me, no, the talking with his rear end part was good. It was Two's him getting birth out of a rhino that like set me off. And I was like,
Oh,
I don't like this.
classic.
It's not a classic. That is fucking terrifying to me. Oh my god.
You
I
know,
am surprised to find out too that Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place is one of those obscure TV shows that not a lot of people know about. And there's a reason why, because it wasn't a good TV show. But I always mention it because it's just a very funny title premise for a sitcom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but lost media is definitely a pretty interesting concept to me, and sometimes you get some like really exciting drops, like uh, goodness,
Well,
like
like 100%. I care about preservation. And I'm very happy there
oh
is a
yeah,
thing for it, but it is not my special interest at all.
yeah. Uh, like I'm gonna mention it in the video, but just for example, like when a new batch of classic Doctor Who episodes gets dropped because a lot of those were erased by the BBC. Uh,
Yeah, that made me sad to hear about. Like, straight up, we don't have all of Doctor Who. That's kind of insane.
like I guess it's kind of a halvesies thing because at the very least all of the audio is preserved. But like
Mhm.
the visuals for many episodes are still missing. So like it's always really cool to hear the news that like a new one has been uncovered. Uh, you know, and hopefully fingers crossed someday all of them can be visually uncovered. Um, but yeah, it's just an interesting concept to me of how uh, uh, something can maybe air just one time, or uh, maybe was a series, either short or
So,
long lived, that people don't have very much access to. It's something.
so that being of note, there is one thing that I am particularly like consistently thinking about as the lost media that it is, but it is a part of a episode. It's not the whole episode. And that is the episode where Bart and Lisa get um go to a what you calls what are the departments called? A clothing department. And the mom says, Marge says, okay, you two kids just go do whatever you do and don't talk to strangers. And they go, okay. And then the guy immediately pops up and he says, hey, want to come with me to go watch some cartoons? And they're like, okay, yeah.
Uh,
And that I'm almost 100% positive that's exactly what happened. But every other airing of that show is not that way. And that's the episode where they try to change Itchy and Scratchy and whatnot. But I can't find it anywhere. I can't find that specific clip. And I know it exists. I know it in my heart it exists.
Man,
And it feels so gaslit.
what a time to not have TTP with us, because he is a Simpsons mega fan, so he probably would be able to shed some more light on that.
I
Uh,
mean, I am too, fam. Like all the way until like episode season 16, I think, is where my knowledge is pretty much subscribed to. After that, it gets a little bit hazy.
I'm gonna like when this one. Oh wait, no, he's a channel member actually, so I can timestamp this. Let's see, it's around 54 minutes or so. Uh, uh, TTP, shout out to TTP. This one's for you. I'm gonna link you this timestamp and see if you can help Lost with that. Uh, uh,
Legit, legit.
another lost media thing that's been like partially found and whatnot that I really appreciate actually for for having all the episodes that have been uncovered. Another Cartoon Network example, Rabbit and I, about half a year ago or so, we binged the available episodes of JBVO, the Your Request cartoon show. Uh, where it was like Johnny Bravo was the host, and it was a request show, so viewers could either write or get called in. Oh wait, no, they had to write or email. That's what it was, and then Johnny would call them. So. You'd get Jeff Bennett as Johnny Bravo having these beautifully awkward conversations with the viewers, uh, each with their own individual charm, and then the episode of the show or the segment or Looney Tunes short, whatever the case may be, uh, would air, and it was a fun time. Cartoon Network kept that up for about a year, and then it just vanished into the void. Uh, the only thing that was available for a while was like a short clip of the show's most memorable moment when like a girl wrote in wanting to see Dragon Ball Z, but it was too long, so Johnny had to play some of it and fast forward and kind of like narrate. Right, and I
I think I
remember,
remember that.
yeah, I remember watching that one when I was a kid, and seeing it now as an adult, like it didn't click to me back then just how weird it was for Johnny to just be like, oh, there's Goku fighting Frieza. uh,
Feel.
it's so beautiful. Um, but yeah, no, that's another one. Bless lost media, like bless the community, I should say, because Lost touched on it earlier, but I am 100% a preservationist as well, which is
Yeah.
which is why you'll never hear me be like, oh man, piracy totally bad, because piracy has actually done a lot of good for you
It's
know
done
uh,
mostly good, honestly.
yeah,
The
for
only time I really have a problem with piracy is when it's an immediate thing. Like Nintendo Switch doesn't really need to be pirated as of right now. Maybe in like a year or something, you know?
like
Like that's at most.
it has done so much for media preservation, and in
Yeah.
an era where the official means are wanting to offer you less content for more money. We need a
Mhm.
little more of that. uh, you know Preservation be good. uh, so
It is
yeah.
extremely.
um
I, w- I was surprised to find out too. One of the shows that I really liked as a kid, apparently is Lost Media. I did not realize this. I'm looking at the Lost Media wiki because, like, again, not my special interest. And Two Stupid Dogs is one of them, and I'm like, what do you mean Two Stupid Dogs wasn't like preserved in a proper way that people can't watch consistently,
that surprises me too.
right? Because just like it's Two Stupid Dogs, Two Stupid Dogs. That's
Two
how
stupid
the
dogs.
animated. Yeah. Apparently it was. There's some bumpers and skits that were found, but that's about it, really. And I'm just really shocked at that. It's one of those. It's definitely one of those things where, like, if you were to start mentioning some lost media stuff, I probably have watched it. I just don't recognize it. It's not something that like clicks to me because I've already seen it, and like as far as I'm concerned, I've moved on.
Huh. Yeah, for two stupid dogs, man. That's interesting that a lot of it apparently hasn't been uncovered because like even as recently as like the newer Cartoon Planet, uh,
Yeah,
they would air segments from it on there, like I've seen plenty enough retrospectives to know that people know about it and the new Secret Squirrel segments that they did for it and all that.
I
So yeah,
love Secret Squirrel.
that surprises the hell out of me, actually. Um,
Mm,
so, uh, Is there any other examples that you might want to bring up? Because I am drawing blanks.
Right? That's why I've been looking it up, like, over here on the wiki here, because just again, it's not a really big thing that I get into. So it is one of those things where it's a little bit hard for me to remember certain things, and just a lot of it just comes down to the fact that, like, most of the lost media that I am familiar with and that I keep in touch with is just partially there. It's something that, like, I know existed, but it wasn't something that necessarily was like a thing. Like all the characters in Fox Kids singing the national anthem. That was a thing. I don't think it was lost media at any point in time, but like that's the kind of stuff that I think about. So I couldn't really give you anything more than that. I'm kind of tapped out, honestly.
All right. Well, uh, in that case, we're gonna wrap things up. Nice and clean, actually, because we just hit the hour mark. Uh,
Hey, we totally planned that, right?
oh yeah, totally. This is I tell you, it is totally 100% actually for real required that we hit at least 1 hour in these episodes. Uh, but for realsies, though, that's a sampling from Lost and I here of obscure television, delving into lost media a bit too. Just a recollection of shows that may or may not be remembered by a whole lot of folks. And even some things that we've questioned their existence. I definitely got to go look into that that fucking surfboard guy at some point. Uh,
Yeah. I forgot this was about obscure TV shows at the midway point. I'm gonna be so real about that.
that's fair because the viewer question did mention lost media, and that, like, that
Yeah.
it ties together.
It
uh,
does tie together. I agree with that. It's just more a matter of just like I think the thing that I really want to end it off with is that Fox has canceled a ton of TV shows that did not get to air enough. And just that small little sampling from what I said from the honorables definitely is a good bit of it. I would definitely suggest looking into at least some of the things that I mentioned today. Not to wrap it up, just to say that like for obscure TV shows, kind of just look at Fox canceled TV shows.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they got a a trigger finger that's very happy to hit the cancel button. Family Guy even did a whole ass joke about that when they came back
Yeah,
from their own cancellation. Uh,
that was the third time they got canceled too.
yeah,
Like
it's
all the things that happened after.
crazy. Uh, but that'll do it for this episode of Memory Lane Buddies. Then, if you would like to sit in on the live recording session, of course, episodes become public within the following week. But if you like, to sit in on the recording session, interact with us in chat. And be able to ask your own viewer question for each episode, then you can become a channel member at the Memory Lane Buddies viewer level, and that will grant you access to all of that stuff. But yeah, Lost. Thank you so much for joining me in this little talk here today.
Yeah, of course. I was a little bit shocked that nobody else really wanted to talk about it, but I guess considering how much I hate movies, it makes sense that I love TV shows, you know?
Yeah, I suppose. Uh, but that'll do it for this one. So we'll see you in April for the next one. And until next time, I have been Skull 902.
I've been lost later.
Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Bye bye.